Monday's issue of the New York Times featured some of my advice on how to get better at dealing with change. In particular, people always love this one strategy. Ask yourself, in 10 years, how do I want to remember telling the story of how I responded to this crisis? This simple question capitalizes on a phenomenon that psychologists call temporal distancing, which is really just a fancy way of imagining yourself in a distant time or place. And by asking that question, it shifts your brain's focus from the crisis to the main character's response to that crisis. In an instant, your strife becomes a story. And believe me when I tell you, there is nothing that your brain loves more than a good story, especially when that story stars you. Try this. I call it the movie star method. Picture yourself 10 years from now, standing in front of a classroom full of eager students, relaying the tale of how you survived 2020. Think Matt Damon in the closing scenes of The Martian. You're up there. You want to start out with Once Upon a Time, or So There I Was. And at that point, you have a choice. You can either launch into a tragedy about your fear and victimhood, or you can start telling the story of a triumph about how you used your courage and creativity to catapult your career at a time when you thought everything was going to derail it. The circumstances were going to derail your career. Or maybe you want to tell a story about how your unwavering commitment to love and generosity shaped your response in spite of all the adversity. Or maybe you just want to tell a comedy, a funny story about how this unbelievable string of bloopers and setbacks and catastrophes in 2020 taught you not to take life so seriously. Bottom line is this. It's your story. You get to choose it. You get to live it.